This is Greg Lanier from Reformed Theological Seminary in Orlando. I've received the baton from my colleague Will Ross as we've taken over Daily Dose of Greek and turned it into Daily Dose of Septuagint this week. Glad you're here, and we're going to continue taking a look at Isaiah chapter 6 in its Greek form, beginning with verse 7. What you see on screen is an excerpt from our Reader's Edition, which gives you a nice formatted text of the whole Greek Old Testament with footnotes to help you with the vocabulary. Let's begin by reading verse 7. Kai hepsita tu stamatas mu kai apen. Edu hepsita tuta ton cheleon su. Kai aphele tasanamia su. Kai tasan hamartia su. Perikatharie. A translation could work something like this. And he touched my mouth and said, Behold, this has touched your lips, and it will remove your transgressions, and your sins it will cleanse. Let's make a couple interesting observations about this passage, beginning with this double use of hapsata there, which is just a normal aorist middle of hapto, which means to touch something. But what you'll notice is that it's followed by not an accusative, as you might expect, but a genitive here, to stamatas and ton cheleum. And that is common for this particular word. It tends to take its object in the genitive as opposed to the accusative. So don't let that trip you up. Second, I'll point out this nice parallel phrase here and what the seraphim says to Isaiah. You notice it begins with the verb, a future of remove here. So it begins with the verb, and then it's followed by its object. But whenever you have the sort of mirror image of it, this is reflecting the Hebrew. It's what we would call synthetic parallelism. It goes the opposite way. It begins with the object, and then it's followed by the verb, another future from perikatharizo. So it's followed by its verb. And that's very common in Hebrew. And then the Greek here nicely follows suit, trying to reflect that word order. Shows you the flexibility that Greek gives you in terms of how to structure a given sentence. Lastly, I would just mention this combination of words for aphireo, to remove, and to remove lawless deeds or iniquities or transgressions, how that's related and sort of really defined in a sort of parallel way with hamartias there, the common word for sin, and then cleansing or removal of iniquity and so forth. That these words show up, among others, in lots of different sacrificial contexts in the Greek Old Testament. We've had the altar in the prior verse. And you're going to see those show up a lot in the Greek New Testament as well, in the Gospels, in Paul, and Hebrews. And if you want to find out more about how the Greek Old Testament helps shape some of the ways, the connotations that various words have for the New Testament authors as they are, in this case, describing atonement and that kind of thing, you should check out our latest book with Crossway, the Septuagint, What It Is and Why It Matters. We devote large chunks of a whole chapter to the influence of the Greek Old Testament on the style, syntax, and so forth of the New Testament authors. Greek Isaiah is very important to the New Testament, among other many books. And so check that out. It's new from Crossway. Thanks a lot.